Everything is my fault. This was a conversation I had with our team yesterday. And when I printed it out and literally taped it onto the wall, I was kind of met with mixed reviews. But, John, this happened. That was not in your control. And this happened, and that wasn't in your control. And then for each thing, I spoke of how, you know what, I've been doing this long enough to know I should have anticipated this. I have this past experience. I should have anticipated. I should have forecasted. If I would have given more time or attention or detail here, here's how I could have done it differently. This will be both the most liberating thing that you will ever learn and the most difficult. Because our nature is blame shifting. Our nature is pointing the finger. Our nature is throwing everyone else under the bus but myself. Our nature is not taking ownership but disregarding ownership. Our nature is not always trustworthy. I had a basketball coach, Steve Stewart. I've talked about him a lot before, but the day that my life changed was when Steve Stewart said to me, John, you can't do anything about your past. You can't do anything about your grades. You can't do anything about where you're from. You can't do anything about your home life situation. You can't do anything about those things. But Coach Stewart said to me, John, you can do everything about where you are 5 years from now. I was 18 years old when Steve said this to me. We had literally pulled the car over to the side of the road, and I was almost in tears. And I was talking about my life to Steve. And I was also questioning my value in whether or not my life should even continue on planet Earth. And I was saying these things in such a way. And Steve said, but you can do everything about your future. And in that moment, when Steve said that I could actually control, that I could actually influence where I would end up, and things didn't have to be just happen chance, and things just, it wasn't by the, flying by the seat of your pants. It wasn't some, waiting on the whatever to happen to affect my life in some great way. Opportunity will never knock. Opportunity never knocks. You have to go knock on opportunity's door. And when Steve said that I could do everything about where I would be 5 years from now, at that moment, in my head, I got a vision for where I wanted to be. I got a vision for who I wanted to be married to. I got a vision for the role, the job, the service that I played into the world. I got a vision even educationally, like what kind of school I wanted to be going to. I got a vision for my family. I got a vision for having, at 18 years old, I wanted to have already started a family by the time I was 23. And I remember when I was 23 years old, July 6th, when I was 23 years old, I woke up in North Carolina, 468 miles away from the place that I'd spent my whole life growing up. I woke up beside my wife, and I woke up with our 2.5-month-old there with me. And I'd done those things. Shortly later, I was enrolled in and going to the type college I was wanting to go to. The job that I was doing, I was working with students. I was doing the job that I wanted to do. This is the most liberating message that you will ever learn. It will also be the most difficult message that you will ever learn. When we can take ownership for everything in my future beyond right now is my fault. Everything I can anticipate, I can forecast, I can plan, I can put in the work. I do calls on Monday mornings with dads. And dads, If we wake up one day and our families have fallen apart, where did we miss it? The biggest revelation of my life was one of the biggest revelations of my life is when I was walking through a gym. It was around noon. I was the only guy in the free weight section. And I noticed this massive jacked up fellow walking by, just ripped to shreds. And it was me. And instead of being happy, I was sad because the night before I'd caught myself to the top of my voice yelling at my 11-year-old. You don't yell at 11. You don't do that. And for me, that was a moment where I had to change. I had to take ownership for the man that I was showing up as in my life and in my home. I had to take ownership for that. And you have to do the work. And I had to do the work. And I'm still doing the work. How do I love my kids in the way that they should be loved? How do I love my wife in a way that she should be loved? How do I give my affection to her in a way, to my kids in a way? How do I lead my team at work in a way? How do I show that I truly and genuinely care about the folks that I'm coming to in this world? How do I do that? How do I give and invest of my time and my energy and my talents in such a way that truly is an added value to the people in my circle and not just be a tax on society? How many of us are, every conversation we go into, we are a tax on the conversation because it's a burdensome idea or thought or conversation? That's not a positive headspace. That's not a good thing. Yeah, there's going to be times where you have to lean into the hard and the difficult conversations, and those are no fun, but you have to do that. We have to approach life with full ownership. What can I do right now to affect my outcome? Everything is my fault. And when everything is my fault, that's such a liberating message. Because when everything is my fault, then that means before God, I can put in the reps and I can put in the work to watch the kind of life that I would like to see grow happen when I cultivate that environment, when I nourish that kind of environment, when I facilitate that kind of growth environment for myself and for those around me, then I've done a great service to the world. For me, living a life that counts really boils down to a few very simple truths. And one of those truths is, at the beginning and at the end of each day, at the beginning of each day, I have to say, this is my day. What am I going to make this day look like? If His mercies are new every morning, then I better get up and run after them and go get them. So that at the end of the day, when I rest my head on my pillow, I know that I've done my level best before my wife, before my team, before my kids, in my community, and for my world. And we've been given this gift of life. Life is a gift, man. Don't take it for granted. Every moment that you have is a gift. Cherish the gift. It was Benjamin Franklin who said, "Don't you love life? Well, then don't squander your time, because your time is the stuff that life is made out of. Don't squander your time. Take your time and wield it as a tool so that you can shape your life the way that you want to see your life. My name's John Williams, and I lead an organization called Life That Counts. I get to work with an amazing group of people who have decided to come alongside and help build momentum for this big idea of helping people make better decisions for more healthy outcomes. And one of the best decisions you will ever make in your life is the decision to know that from this point forward, everything that happens is my fault. My test scores are my fault. My DMV driving record is my fault. The way I do my taxes and finances are all my fault. And when I can take ownership for that, when I realize that, then I can immediately affect the outcome. And I want to encourage you, wherever you're at today, wherever you're listening to this video, I want to encourage you. This is your life, and now is your time. Take ownership for it. Gain utility. Add value. And change your life. And in so doing, I believe you'll live a life that counts. I believe I'll live a life that counts. Thanks for signing on. If this video or any other video that we've ever done brings value or any type of encouragement to you, please drop us a line. Info at lifethatcounts.org. Leave comments in the thing below. We'd love to see your reactions. We love to hear from you guys. All right. Have an amazing evening. Take ownership, because everything is my fault.